Good day everyone. Now let's proceed to the Unit 5.3 Theories of Physical Activity Motivation to be presented by Tubo, Amistoso, Samunlay, Gumapak, and Luzon. First, let's have the chapter overview. Now, this chapter outlines 4 types of behavior theories related to physical activity. First, we have social cognitive theories. It says that behavior is driven by intentions which are based on our expectations and values. This chapter highlights the health action process approach and temporal self-regulation theory, both of which also look at what helps turn intentions into action. Second, the humanistic theories, like self-determination theory, suggest that we're motivated by a need for fulfillment. When our basic psychological needs, that is autonomy, competence, and relatedness are met, we're more likely to feel motivated from within. Third, we have dual process theories. It describes behavior as influenced by both reflective, the rational, and automatic, the emotional processes. This chapter covers hedonic motivation theory and the theory of effort minimization, which explains the inner conflict between wanting to be active and wanting to avoid discomfort. Finally, we have the maintenance theories, focuses on why people continue being physically active. They explain how repeating activity in the same context can lead to habit formation. This chapter shows how these theories continue to evolve with new research and measurement tools. Okay, next slide. Understanding physical activity motivation. Now it starts by reminding us that although physical activity has many health benefits, those benefits rarely explain why people choose to be active. It asks us to think about people we know. Why do some stay active while others stop? To help answer that, this chapter emphasizes the role of theories. Theories offer structured ways to describe, predict, or understand behavior and behavior change. While there are over 80 behavior change theories, this chapter focuses on selected types that apply directly to physical activity motivation. Next, evolution of motivation theories. Historically, most theories of physical activity motivation came from sports and performance psychology, where the focus is on achievement like winning or improving performance. These theories often emphasize goal setting and striving. Over time, the field has evolved. Influences from public health, developmental and social psychology, evolutionary psychology, and neurobiology have expanded our understanding. Now, newer theories now consider non-conscious influences like habits, urges, and even the natural human tendency to conserve energy. Also, thanks to advances in measurement in data analysis, motivation is no longer seen as fixed. It's understood as dynamic, changing from moment to moment and across time. This chapter doesn't try to cover every theory, but instead offers a framework for understanding how different types of theories explain physical activity motivation, with clear examples of each. Okay? Now, next slide, we have this table. This table 2.1 provides an overview of categories of theories related to physical activity motivation, including their assumptions and example theories. Now let's have first the social cognitive theories. Here, behavior is influenced by goals, intentions, and what people expect to happen as a result of their actions. Now, motivation comes from believing that a certain behavior, like exercising, will lead to valued outcomes like better health or fitness. And the example theories here is the Health Action Process Approach, or HAPA, that focuses on how people plan and act on their own intentions to be active, highlighting the role of self-efficacy, confidence in one's ability, and temporal self-theory emphasizes how people manage time and delayed gratification, that is, choosing long-term health over short-term comfort. Okay? Next on the table, we have the humanistic theories. Here, behavior is driven by the innate human desire for personal growth, fulfillment, and well-being. People are naturally motivated to do things that align with their values and bring satisfaction. And the example theory here is the self-determination theory, or SDT, that suggests motivation is the strongest when people feel autonomy, that is the freedom of choice, competence, that is the ability to succeed, and relatedness, that is the connection to others. Next on the table, we have dual process theories. It says that behavior is shaped by two different processes, the reflective processes and the automatic processes. The reflective processes is the logical, reasoned decisions, that is planning to exercise. And then the automatic processes is the quick emotional reactions, that is to say, you're feeling lazy or excited without thinking. The example here is that the hedonic motivation theory. It focuses on how people are motivated by pleasure and avoiding discomfort. Theory of effort minimization in physical activity explains why people often avoid physical activity because the brain naturally wants to conserve energy. Affective reflective theory also combines emotional reactions, that is how a person feels about an activity, with conscious thoughts to explain behavior. Next, we have maintenance theories. Here, it's one thing to start a new behavior like exercising, but it's another to maintain it over time. This theory focuses on the factors that help people stick with behavior change long term. Example theory here is the theoretical explanations for maintenance of behavior change. These are not one specific theory, but a group of ideas that explore how people stay motivated after the initial excitement or novelty wears off. Okay, next slide, we have theories of physical activity motivation. Let's have the social cognitive theories. Here, these highlight how our understanding of physical activity motivation has developed over time, especially in relation at goals and intentions. First, research shows that the characteristics of goals really matter. According to Kwasniewska and Swan, goals that are clear, specific, and challenging are more likely to lead to meaningful motivation. These theories originally focused on the idea that having the intention to act was the key to behavior change, but never worked. Like that of Call and Rhodes, shows that intention alone isn't enough. So these theories have evolved to include the concept of action control, understanding the processes that help or hinder people from acting on their intentions. And the action control factors include things like planning ahead, that is the when, where, and how to act. Self-monitoring, that is keeping track of your progress, and creating implementation intentions, that is specific if then plans that prepare you to act automatically in certain situations, like if it's 6 p.m. I'll go for a run. Okay, now next slide. Finally, here we'll be looking at two contemporary social cognitive models that go beyond older theories by combining both intention and action control ideas. These models help explain not just why we want to be active, but also how we actually follow through and stick with it. Next, we have the Health Action Process Approach, or HAPA. The Health Action Process Approach, or HAPA, breaks down motivation for physical activity into two distinct phases, the motivation phase and the volition phase. In the motivation phase, a person becomes aware of the benefits and risks related to physical activity. They consider things like risk perception, That is, if I don't exercise, I might face health issues. And the outcome expectancies, that is to say, if I do exercise, I'll feel better and get stronger. And self-efficacy, that is the belief that I can do this. All of this help them form the intention to be physically active. Then comes the volition phase, where the focus shifts from thinking to doing. This is about turning intention into real action. It involves planning, both action planning and coping strategies. Monitoring progress and maintaining motivation even during setbacks, also called maintenance and recovery self-efficacy. Now, a key insight or a key idea here in HAPA is that there's a mental shift between these two phases. What motivates someone to intend to exercise isn't always the same thing that helps them follow through. Different psychological and situational factors come into play and in each phase. So, HAPA helps us understand that motivation alone isn't enough. We need strategies and support systems to actually carry out our situations. And that's it for my topic. Let's proceed to the next presenter to continue my discussion. Thank you.
The health action process approach applied to physical activity. It explains how people develop and act on intentions to be physically active. It includes two main phases, which is the motivation and volition. So here are the table. Just to make it clear, so we don't have to keep zooming in and out. I made a version where I arrange everything one by one to make it easier for us to read. First is motivation phase, developing intentions. So we have two stages, the non-intentional and pre-intentional. Non-intentional, no intention yet, and in pre-intentional, intention is starting to form. There are the key constructs of motivational phase. Task self-efficacy, confidence in starting physical activity. So they said that I can do this. So they are feeling confident about starting their exercises. Like for example, Maria has always wanted to try jogging. She finally decides to lace up her shoes and head out the door. As she starts running, she thinks that I can do this. I just need to take it one step at a time. Next is the outcome expectancies. Expected benefits versus cost of physical activity. They said that what's in it for me? So they are thinking about the good things exercise will do for them. Example, Juan wants to lose weight. He researches the benefits of regular exercise and realizes he might have more energy and feel more confident. He thinks that if I exercise regularly, I'll look and feel great. Next is the risk perception. Awareness of health risk from an activity. They said that I'm at risk if I don't exercise. So they're realizing that not exercising can harm their health. Example, Anna's doctor tells her that she's at risk for diabetes if she doesn't start exercising. Anna realizes the seriousness of the situation and decides to take an action. This phase focuses on forming the intention to be active, influenced by how capable, beneficial, or risky one perspectives physical activity to be. Next is the volition phase, acting on intentions. We have also the two stages, which is the intentional and actional. Intentional is intention form but no action yet. So in actional is physical activity has started. The key constructs on volition based. Action plans have specific details that the when, where, and how for action. To making a plan for exercising. Example, David decides to exercise 3 times a week. He schedules in his calendar that he do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 a.m. at the gym. Next is coping plans, backup strategies to overcome obstacles. They said that, what if something goes wrong? So they having a backup plan to overcome obstacles. Example, Emily knows she might get busy at work. So she prepares a backup plan that if she miss a day, she will do it a home workout. She will do it in a home workout instead. Next, in action control. Monitoring and adjusting behavior to stay aligned with the goals. They are staying on track, monitoring and adjusting their exercise habits. Example, Mark tracks his progress on a physical app. I joke. Example, Mark tracks his progress on a fitness application. He adjusts his routine when he notices he's not meeting his goals. Next is the coping self-efficacy. Confidence to continue despite challenges. They said that I can handle challenges. So they are feeling confident about continuing exercise despite of their difficulties. Example, after a tough workout, Rachel feels exhausted, but she thinks that I can handle this. I've done it before. Next is recovery self-efficacy. Confidence to resume after stopping. They said that I can get back on track. So they are feeling confident about restarting exercise after a break. Example, after a 2-week break, Tom feels rusty, but he thinks that I can get back into it. I'll start with a gentle workout and build up my endurance. These spaces and constructs help people understand how to form intentions and take actions towards regular physical activity and involves putting intentions into an action and maintaining them through planning, self-monitoring, and overcoming setbacks. In short, it highlights the psychological journey from thinking about becoming active to actually doing it and sticking with it.
So, good day everyone. Today we're diving into a topic that's relevant to all of us: why people struggle to stick with exercise, especially in fitness facility settings. We've all either set fitness goals ourselves or known someone who joined a gym and quit after a few weeks. So, despite knowing the benefits of regular exercise, like better health, mood, and sleep, what makes maintaining consistency so challenging? So this discussion focuses on the psychological, behavioral, and motivational factors that influences adherence to physical activity. So to begin with, let's explore a theory that help us to understand the gap between intention and action, the temporal self-regulation theory, or the TSRT. So think of TSRT as a bridge between what we intend to do and what we actually do. It helps us to understand why, even with the best intentions, we might fall short of our exercise goals. So this theory was developed by Hall and Fong in 2007, and TSRT highlights the intention alone is insufficient. It emphasizes both pre-intention and post-intention processes influencing behavior. So there are key 3 factors in temporal self-regulation theory: the intention strength, self-regulatory capacity, behavioral prepotency. So let's discuss first what is intention strength. This intention strength is stronger the intention, the more likely the behavior is inactive. So intention strength, this is how strongly committed you are to your fitness goal. A strong intention stems from deep personal reasons, example, your family or your health, while a weak intention is often vague or fleeting. So let's say for example, person A says, I need to exercise regularly to manage my blood pressure and stay healthy for my children. And person B says, I think I should work out, maybe next week. So person A's intention is stronger because it's tied to specific and meaningful reasons. So this deep personal motivation makes sustained effort more likely. And person B's intention, based on a general feeling, lacks the commitment needed for long-term adherence. So strong intentions are fueled by compelling personal reasons. The next is the self-regulatory capacity, the ability to manage and control actions towards goals. So this is your ability to manage your actions and control your impulses to stay on track with your goals. This is the ability to manage your time, resist temptations, and overcome distractions to achieve goals. Strong self-regulation involves planning, scheduling, and employing strategies to maintain consistency. For example, a student who sets an alarm for 6 a.m. to go to the gym and avoids late-night snacks demonstrates strong self-regulation. And another student who repeatedly skips workouts due to a lack of willpower has poor self-regulation. So effective regulation, self-regulation, requires proactive planning and strategies to overcome obstacles. This could involve scheduling your workouts, preparing your gym bags in advance, or enlisting an accountability partner. So self-regulation is about proactively managing your environment and internal drives to support your intentions. And the next key factors in temporal self-regulation theory is the behavioral prepotency. So behavioral prepotency is how automatic or habitual a behavior has become based on past experiences. So it refers to how routine or habitual a behavior has become based on past experiences. The more you practice a behavior, the more automatic it becomes. Example, a former athlete who trained regularly in high school might naturally continue working out in adulthood. In contrast, someone who has never been active will need to build the habit from scratch. So habits are automatic behavior that require minimal cognitive effort. The more ingrained a behavior is, the less willpower it demands. Developing an exercise habit requires consistent repetition and building into daily routines. So, while TSRT provides a strong foundation for understanding exercise adherence, it is important to remember that it's not the only factor at play. Let's now explore some additional concepts that influence our ability to stick with our fitness goals. So intention strength itself is shaped by connectedness beliefs and temporal valuations. So connectedness beliefs, this refers to the perceived link between current actions and future outcomes. This is how strongly you believe that exercising today will have positive benefits in the future. For example, person A says, if I exercise now, I'll reduce my risk of heart disease in the future. And person B says, one missed workout won't matter, I'll make it up someday. So a strong connectedness belief helps us to maintain motivation. When individuals clearly see how their actions shape their future health and well-being, they are more likely to stick with their exercise routine. And next is the temporal valuations. Temporal valuations, this is how much you value future rewards compared to immediate gratification. This concerns the relative importance placed on the future rewards versus immediate gratification. Individuals who value future benefits over present comfort are more likely to maintain consistency. So for example, person A says skipping the gym might feel good now, but I'll feel stronger and healthier later. And person B says I'll just relax tonight, I'll work out eventually. So this is about delaying gratification, prioritizing long-term goals over immediate desires. So those who place a higher value on long-term outcomes are better prepared to overcome their short-term impulses. Next is the feedback loops in behavior. Past experiences with physical activity influence future behavior. Success builds stronger intentions and reinforces connectedness beliefs and valuations. So, feedback loops, it is your past experiences with physical activity that shapes our future behavior. Positive feedback like seeing progress or feeling good encourages us to continue, while negative feedback like pain and frustration can lead to discouragement. So, for example, a person who sees weight loss or feels better after regular workouts will be motivated to continue. But someone who feels sore, insecurity, or sees no results might get discouraged and stop. So early success are immensely motivating. If a person experiences positive feelings or sees tangible results, it builds confidence and reinforces the behavior. Conversely, persistent negative experiences can lead to the cessation of exercise. Now, while PSRT and these additional factors help us to understand the external influences, it is crucial to consider the internal drive that fuels our actions. So let's turn to humanistic psychology for a different perspective. So humanistic theories of motivation. It is centered on human potential, growth, and self-actualization. It suggests that behavior is motivated by an innate drive to fulfill one's capabilities. Positive and negative life experiences shape personal development. So while PSRT focuses on external factors, humanistic theories of motivation emphasizes internal drives and personal growth as key factors in understanding human behavior. Unlike behaviorist or psychodynamic perspective that focus on external rewards or unconscious conflicts, humanistic theories highlights the individual's inherent potential for self-actualization and the importance of subjective experiences. Let's proceed to the key motivational concepts in humanistic theories. So, motivation stems from internal desires rather than external pressures. So, this internal drive, fueled by enjoyment, pride, and satisfaction, is more sustainable than external pressures like social approval. So, let's say, for example, someone works out because they enjoy how it makes them feel mentally and emotionally, not just because of how they look. When exercise is intrinsically motivating, it becomes a source of enjoyment and personal fulfillment, leading to greater adherence. So next is the mastery. Personal enjoyment and achievement are central to sustained motivation. So these factors foster continued engagement. Celebrating small victories, finding enjoyable activities, and experiencing a sense of accomplishment are key motivators. Example, a gym goer who celebrates doing the first 10 push-ups, enjoys Zumba class, or learns proper lifting techniques is more likely to keep coming back. So, focusing on small, achievable goals and engaging in enjoyable physical activity increases motivation and increases belief in one's capacity to achieve or to succeed. So, in conclusion, maintaining an exercise routine isn't just about motivation, is about understanding the psychological factors at play, building habits, and focusing on the long-term benefits. By considering these factors, you can create a more sustainable and enjoyable relationship with physical activity. So that would be all. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. So, by the way, I'm Sanjay Samonlay. So, by the way, I will want to continue discussing about the self-determination theory and physical activity. So, what is self-determination theory? So, self-determination theory explains why people aren't motivated. It explains a circular framework that explains human motivations and behaviors. It focuses on autonomy. Autonomy, which is feeling in control and having choices. Say, for example, creating your own workout routine and schedules that fits your lifestyles. While competence, it is feeling capable and effective, which is learning by learning new skills and techniques such as basic skills in team sports. Let's talk about team sports, about the volleyball, softball, and basketball. Relatedness. Relatedness, it is feeling connected and valued by others, which is joining sports or team sports that to meet new to meet new peoples that give you motivated so that is example of motivation. So motivation is a spectrum from no motivation to deeply internal motivation. It is talk about the more internal motivations, the more likely you'll stick in the physical activity, that you can enjoy the process. So that connected into physical activity, that is examples of that you being motivated. So next slide, which is the types of motivation. So a motivation, it is a lack of motivations. So no motivation or extensions. Examples: why bother exercising? So there's conflict about the motivation. A motivation is not motivated, lack of motivation. Extrinsic, which is it's talk about motivated by rewards or pleasure. Example: I want to win a medal. That is talk about giving motivation by any rewards that you given to you, or that you give that so intrinsic, so motivated by enjoyment or growth. So I love playing basketball. It's by motivating by yourself. This is intrinsic. So love playing pickleball, love playing softball, or anything that that's talk about motivated by yourself. So let's switch this type of regulations. Oh, it's intrinsic for reward or punishments. So let's say examples about the physical activities is example, TG's playing pickleball because he loved the thrill of competitions, like a mass, palaro games, and the feeling hitting the ball. Si motong na by motivating. I delete no. Only reward or punishment. So next is introjected to avoid guilt or seek approval. Say for examples, Joshua trained hard because he should be doing more to avoid disappointing sa iyang coach. Sa iyang coach mo na example sa at avoid guilt or seek approval. So let's talk about identified. Identified is valued as important. So runners train regularly because they believe it can help improve their overall health well-being. So integrated, aligned with identity. So say for examples, professional basketball player dedicated themselves to training being a professional players of basketball. This is muna sila ang core part of their activity. So next slide. amo ni basic psychological needs sa autonomy, having choice and controls, competence, feeling capable and skilled, relatedness, feeling connected and supported. Na-discuss ko ni ganina, which is dito sa self-determination theory and physical activity, itong na-mention ako ni nga. So, next slide please. So, theory of hedonic motivation and physical. What is hedonic? Unsa din ang hedonic? What is so hedonic, which is emotion, what we are motivated by two factors, which is two factors is first is reflective motivation. Reflective motivation is knowing it's good for health, like logical plan, values based. Ang second, which is hedonic motivation. So din ang hedonic motivation, emotional urge or based on pleasure discomfort. So driven by immediate feelings of pleasures or dislike towards of physical activity. Samples, the examples about the mga hedonic motivations, mga examples. John love playing basketballs. So ang motivation is two factors. There's two factors. Examples, reflective motivation. He knows playing and the benefits is improving physical health. And so ang hedonic, which is enjoy mo na siya, enjoy playing sa mga feeling driving into feelings of pleasures mo na ang sa hedonic. So ganahan siya sa gula. So interplay between reflective motivations and he knows, but conflicts of to hedonic motivations, he feel pressured to perform, dili siya ma-enjoy mga siya mga feeling. So next slide. Reflective motivations, itong based on goals, past experience. Examples, I want to run to stay healthy mo ng reflective motivations. But hedonic is immediate emotional response. Kanang mga dili kaganahan, I don't want to play basketball because ganon. So that's hedonic, a feeling. Ang reflective is a goal or mga experience. So okay, so let's proceed to the next slides. When motivations align, reflective and hedonic motivation both support the behaviors. Examples, negative is I want to run. I want to run. Running feels good. Sa result, you do it. When motivation class, reflective says yes or hedonic says no. I know exercise is healthy, but I really don't feel like it. I come depends of strength of motivation, self, environment, and barriers. So role of access. So even if motivation is high, you still need to access time, space, equipment. Say for example, I want to swim but the pool is closed. That is a role of access. No lack equipment or like examples, I want to play basketballs but walay bola or walay ring kay guba ang ring. So muna siya role of access. So next slide. Hedonic motivation and the theory of effort minimizations. So hedonic motivation and effort minimization. Hedonic motivation, the idea that people are driven by the pursuit of pleasure, seeking positive experiences, and the avoidance of discomfort, avoiding negative experiences. Effort minimization, the natural tendency to avoid physical exertion and conserve energy. From an evolutionary perspective, humans are designed to avoid unnecessary effort because conserving energy helps our survival. So, say for examples, a basketball player, Alex, is asked to run sprint during a practice to improve their endurance. So, ang hedonic is feel uncomfortable, intense physical exertions, temp slow or stop to avoid fatigue. But to overcome effort minimizations, make so ang coach is make competitive drills, engaging activities, so that Alex pushed through uncomfortable and improved endurance. So that is an example of hedonic motivation and effort minimization. So proceed to next slide. The psychological process behind the physical activity. So the cue, stimulus, external or internal triggers that prompt uh, to engage in physical activity to or avoid it. These are environmental or situational cues that influence our behaviors. So example, hearing bouncing might accue player to get into game mode. So nag-start up playing ana muna siya ang cue, which is ang pagkadungog sa bouncing sa ball in the court. So muna example nga nagsugod ng dula ana. So controlled processing. So this is when you consciously think about the benefits of physical activity based on the past experience and values. It involves thoughtful reflections. So example, basketball player plan and focus on their defensive. So muna sila nag-focus sa defensive. So that is our control processing. So a strategy na making deliberate decisions about positioning or movement so that they can defense muna siya. So automatic association. So this refers to the mental connections we make between physical activity and emotions based on previous experience. So say for examples, a player might automatically associates a specific teammates' gestures with a particular play, allowing them to react quickly and instinctively on the court. So that is examples of automatic associations by automatic response. So next slides, which is reflective versus hedonic motivation. So reflective motivation, this type of motivations involves thinking through a long-term consequences of physical activity. It's more deliberate and thoughtful decision-making process. So see examples, Alex practicing free throws will improve. So nag-improve. So their shooting percentage and increase their chances of winning. So they have a chance to win because Alex is practicing shooting. So he motivated to practice regularly value. So ang value benefits of this is to being a better shooter. So in hedonic motivation, this is driven by the immediate feelings of pleasures or discomfort. It is spontaneous and often focused on how you feel at the moment. So in hedonics, si Alex love the feeling of sinking or perfect shooting and the big crowd of cheers. So muna siya ang hedonics, the feeling. Di ba? As we discussed earlier, hedonic is a feeling. So reflective motivation might lead to prioritize practice and training for a long-term improvement, while hedonic motivations might drive them to play for the sheer enjoyment of the game. So both motivation can be effective, but they also are conflict understanding the interplay between the two motivations, which can help individuals develop strategies to balance motivation and achieve their goals. Okay, so next slides. Effort minimization in actions When deciding whether or not engaged in physical activity, we weigh automatic and controlled evaluations of the situation. This decision is influenced by our natural tendency to minimize effort. So, effort minimization refers to the tendency to conserve energy and avoid unnecessary physical or mental exertions. So in sports and physical activity, this can manifest in various ways such as taking the easiest route, avoiding high intensity or challenging workouts. So effort minimizations can be beneficial in certain contexts. Examples avoid burnout. It can also hinder progress and performance in sports and fitness. So it can be finding a balance between conservations and challenge is the key. So that's all my topic. So I will give to the next teachers.
So, hello everyone. The next topic is all about the theory of effort minimization in physical activity. So, this theory posits that individuals naturally seeks to minimize the effort expended in any activity, including the physical activity. So we have here on the second slide the Q, evaluation and planning. So here in Q's first. So this stage focuses on the triggers that initiate the thought of physical activity. So it's not just all about the activity itself, but the contextual factors surrounding it. So this includes the movement related cues and the physiological state. So here first is the movement related cues. So movement related cues, it is a contextual triggers of the concept of movement based on the behavior including sitting, standing and different incentives of physical activities. So in movement related cues, this is a environmental or internal signals that suggest movement. So for example, for this is seeing a park or feeling restless. In another example for that in the picture in this next slide is um, sitting, standing, sitting and standing. So yeah. So the next is physiological state. So physiological state, it is a level of energy and activation. So physiological state, it is an individual current energy levels and activation state. So for example, for this is feeling energized or being fatigued. So next we have their evaluation. So in evaluation, in this stage, this involves assessing the potential activity. So this evaluation occurs on two levels. So we have there the controlled evaluation and the automatic evaluation. And also we have there the perceived effort. Now first we will discuss the controlled evaluation. So controlled evaluation, it is a reflective judgment about the overall pleasure or displeasure, enjoyment and feeling expected from physical activity as well as reflective knowledge about the benefit of physical activity. So controlled evaluation, it is a conscious and reflective judgment based on expected pleasure, movement, and knowledge of the benefit of exercise. So this may a thought. This is a thoughtful process. So next we have automatic evaluation. So in automatic evaluation, it is a pleasure or unpleasant experiences that arise rapidly involuntary. So, in automatic evaluation, it is a rapid involuntary emotional response to the idea of physical activity. So, it's an immediate gut or feeling positive or negative. So, next we have perceive effort. So perceived effort, it is a subjective experiences and anticipation of the effortfulness of the physical activity. So perceived effort, it is a subjective experience or anticipation of how strenuous the activity we will feel. So next, we have their planning. So in this stage involves making concrete decision about the activity. So we have there the motor plan. So in motor plan, it is a specification about the place, timing, and specification of action, the physical activity. So in motor plan, it is a detailed plan that outlines the specific actions, timing, and location of the physical activity. So it involves logistical details like when, where, and how the activity will perform. So next is maintenance theories. So if you decide to do some physical activity next week, you could probably muster up the next necessary motivation to get it done. So here in maintenance theories, this explains how we initiate and maintain changes in behavior, particularly on focusing the factors that influence the likelihood of choosing one's behavior. So there are two behavioral factors in there. So first we have behavioral initiation factors. So it captures motivational influence needed to instigate changes in behavior. So behavior initiation, this involves the motivational factors that spurs us to action. So for example, for this is deciding to start exercise might be driven a desire to improve uh, your health, then increase energy levels, or fit into a certain clothing size. So, these essential motivation are crucial for getting started but may not be enough to sustain the behavior. Next, we have is behavioral maintenance factor. So, it is it is a motivational influence needed for long-term continuation of the behavior change. So behavior maintenance, it is a once a behavior begins. So maintenance factors become critical. So these factors relate to the ongoing motivation that needed to keep the behavior going over the long term. So this might involve setting realistic goals, finding enjoyable ways to maintain the activity, and having a strong support system. So, so next is the theoretical explanation for maintenance of behavior change. So next we have here the table of relationship between themes for maintenance theories identified by Kwasniaka et al. 2016. So we have there the new behavior, maintenance motives, self-regulation, resources, and etc. So first we will discuss about the maintenance motives. So maintenance motives, it is a internal reasons for wanting to maintain the change behavior. So it includes the enjoyment, satisfaction with outcomes, self determination, and identity related to the new behavior. So next is self-regulation. So self-regulation, it is a conscious effort and strategies to sustain the behavior. So uh, planning planning, problem solving, coping with lapses or relapses, and overcoming barriers. So, third one is resources. So, we have their physical and physiological resources needed to support behavior. So, it includes the energy, time, self-control, and the absence of stressors. So next we have the new habits. So new habits, it is a um, uh, automatic cue dependent behavior that associated with the new behavior. So next is the old habit. So we have there old habits, it is a automatic cue dependent behavior that associated with the previous behavior. So next is the environment. So environment, it is a external factors that influence behavior. So it includes there the opportunity, cost, choice, environmental cues and incentives and disincentives. So next is prior behavior. So in prior behavior, it is a behavior before the change occurs. So it influence on the new behavior is considered. So next is new behavior. So new behavior. So it is a new behavior that adopted in the previous time period. So next is the new behavior. P new behavior. So the first one is about new behavior as TT1. Then this next, it is a P new behavior STT. STT. So this is a probability of maintaining a new behavior at time. So next and the last is the P prior behavior STT. So this is a probability of reverting the old behavior at time. So in this model or in this what table that was identified by Kwasneka et al. So this demonstrate that maintaining behavior change is not a simple process, but it is a complex interplay or internal motivation of self-regulatory skills. So available self-regulatory skills, available resources, habit information, and environmental factors. So the likelihood of maintaining a new behavior, it depends on the interplay of these elements. So a successful behavior change requires addressing each of these factors to maximize the change of long-term maintenance. So we have here the last theoretical explanation for maintenance of behavior change applied to physical activity. So it outlines the key themes from behavior change theories, specifically applied to the maintenance of physical activity. So each themes represents a significant factors influencing whether someone continues engaging in physical activity over time. So we have here the different themes. So the first one is maintenance motives. So maintenance motives, it is a reason people do physical activity. So these are the underlying reasons why individuals choose to participate in physical activity. So these motives can be intrinsic or extrinsic. So next one is self-regulation. So it is effort applied to actively control behavior by overcoming temptation for inactively and or acting physical activity and tension. So self-regulation, this refers to the conscious effort and strategies that used to control behavior. So in the context of physical activity, it involves actively managing temptation to be active and consistently acting on intention to exercise. So next is resources. So resources, it is a psychological and physical factors that support physical activity. So resources, this encompasses both physiological and physical factors that supports physical activities. So physiological resources include things like self-efficacy, motivation, and time management skills. So physical resources includes access to facilities, equipments, and having sufficient energy levels. So a lack of resources often leads to lapses in physical activity. So next, we have their habits. So habits, it is a process by which your behavior is influenced from a cue to act based on a well-learned association between cues and behaviors. So in these habits highlights the role of habit information in maintaining physical activity. So habits are automatic behavior triggered by cues. So the more ingrained the habit, the less reliance there is on conscious effort, increasing the likelihood of consistent engagement. So the last one, we have environmental and social influence. Through this access to a support of physical activity opportunities. So environmental and social influence, these themes emphasize the importance of external context. So this includes access to facilities, social support from friends or family who also exercise, and community programs that promotes physical activity. So, a supportive environment greatly enhances of maintaining an active lifestyle. So, to conclude this topic, I will give the floor to the next report.
Individual. In conclusion, every theory has its own ideas about how people behave, and it's important to remember this when using them in real life. First is social cognitive theories. This theory says that people make decisions based on their goals and what they think will happen if they take action. For example, if someone believes that exercising regularly will make them healthier or help them lose weight, they are more likely to do it. It's all about how people think and what they expect as a result of their actions. Their behavior is guided by planning, confidence, that is called self-efficacy, and their belief that their effort will lead to success. Second is humanistic theories. This theory believes that people are naturally driven to grow, learn, and improve themselves. Everyone wants to be the best version of themselves. So, people are motivated to do activities like exercise, because it helps them feel good, learn something new, or reach their full potential. It is not just about physical benefits, but also about feeling fulfilled and happy. Motivation comes from inside the person, not from rewards or pressure from others. Diba? So third, the dual process theories. This theory says that are two ways people make decisions. One is slow and thoughtful, where you think time to think things through. The other is fast and automatic, where you act quickly without thinking much. Next is maintenance theories. This theory focuses on the long term. It says that just because someone starts exercising doesn't mean they keep it going. The reason they started, like wanted to lose weight or join a fitness challenge, might not be enough to stay motivated over time. People need new or deeper reasons to continue, like enjoying exercise, feeling better, or making it part of their routine. Long-term success needs different support than just starting out. These theories try to explain how people change their physical activity habits. Since everyone and every situation is different, many things can influence our behavior, making it quite complicated. Even though theories can oversimplify things, they are still helpful because they organize different areas. Nawan ako sa timing. Even though theories can oversimplify things, they are still helpful because they organize different ideas into clear system. They help identify what parts of motivation to focus on for change. They show how and where we can apply strategies to help people become more active. See Damichi and Priswich 2010. We need to keep improving these theories. The ones we use now and new ones in the future can help us better understand and support people in becoming more physically active. Okay, that's all for our topic.